Armed with venomous words and calculated blockades, they launched relentless attacks, confident you'd crumble. But what they never expected was your resilience. One by one, every obstacle they placed before you was dismantled with precision, their intricate web of harassment reduced to nothing. Now the battlefield they once ruled has shifted. Their confidence has turned to panic, their power evaporated. You didn't just endure their attacks, you erased them entirely. Every barrier they built has fallen, leaving them in stunned disbelief. This isn't just victory, it's a masterclass in digital self-defense. Cyberbullying failed, and they know it. Cyberbullying wasn't just random hate. It was a calculated, premeditated assault on your name, your reputation, and your peace of mind. This wasn't just a few angry people throwing insults online. No, this was an orchestrated campaign designed to break you down from every angle. They didn't just want to hurt you, they wanted to erase you, to make sure no one would ever take you seriously again. They wanted to control the narrative before you had the chance to fight back. And so, they launched their digital smear campaign, a relentless, methodical attack designed to destroy your credibility and make you a pariah. They weren't alone in this. They gathered an army of trolls, flying monkeys, and even hired people to spread lies about you. Some were mindless followers, easily manipulated into attacking without questioning the truth. Others, paid mercenaries, operating under anonymous accounts, attacking you for the right price. These weren't just bullies. They were agents of chaos, sent to ruin everything you had built. And they spread like a virus, infiltrating your online spaces, your comment sections, even your private messages. They didn't just want to insult you in passing. They wanted to overwhelm you, drown you in so much negativity that you'd start questioning reality itself. Their tactics were as dirty as they were desperate. Fake reviews flooded the internet overnight, filled with bizarre accusations, each one more outlandish than the last. Suddenly, you were seeing false claims tied to your name, claims that had nothing to do with you, but were crafted carefully to turn people against you. They weren't satisfied with just attacking your public presence. No, they wanted to invade your personal space. They hacked accounts, manipulated screenshots, and twisted your words beyond recognition. They sent anonymous emails filled with venom and deceit, hoping that someone, anyone, would take the bait and believe the worst. They lurked in the shadows, whispering poison into the ears of anyone who would listen. Private messages to your friends, your colleagues, your supporters. Some pretended to be concerned citizens, spreading false warnings about you, warning others to stay away before it was too late. Others were more direct, telling outright lies and manufacturing drama just to see you suffer. They wanted you to feel isolated, alone. They wanted you to look around and see only enemies, to think the world had turned against you. This wasn't just about your reputation. It was an attack on your mind, your emotions, your very sense of self. They knew that if they could make you doubt yourself, they wouldn't even have to destroy you. You'd destroy yourself. And they hoped you'd become paranoid, questioning every interaction, wondering who was real and who had been poisoned against you. They wanted you to feel like you were drowning, like no matter what you did, the tide was already against you. They were counting on fear, on doubt, on exhaustion. They believed if they could make the weight unbearable, you would disappear on your own, that they wouldn't even need to push you off the ledge because you'd jump just to escape the noise. But here's where they miscalculated, and you saw through it. You refused to let their lies shape your reality. Instead of letting their campaign consume you, you dismantled it piece by piece. You didn't drown in their toxicity. You learned how to swim through the storm. The isolation they tried to force on you? It backfired. People started noticing the patterns, started questioning the motives behind the attacks. The same people they tried to recruit began turning against them, realizing that this wasn't a movement for truth. It was a pathetic, desperate attempt to destroy someone stronger than them. And their fabricated empire is crumbling. The lies they spread are circling back to them. The people they thought they had fooled? They're waking up. The world is watching, and the bullies who thought they were invincible. And they're finally afraid. This wasn't just cyberbullying. It was a full-scale attack on your mind, your energy, and your spirit. They weren't just haters throwing insults. They were strategists, orchestrating chaos to drain you from the inside out. Every move they made was intentional, every smear a calculated strike against your stability. They wanted you disoriented, second-guessing yourself, and drowning in negativity. They thought they could break you with relentless disruptions. Their tactics went beyond nasty comments. This was sabotage at every level. They filed false reports against your content, trying to get you banned. They mass-flagged your accounts, manipulating automated systems to silence you. If you sold products or provided services, they left fake reviews, poisoning your credibility. If you gained traction, they spread rumors, crafting believable lies to turn people against you. And then came the glitches, always at the worst times. Sudden errors, messages disappearing, your content mysteriously reaching fewer people. Coincidence? No. This was strategic. Every time you gained momentum, a digital roadblock appeared. Shadow banning, throttled engagement, mysterious login issues. It was warfare, both digital and spiritual. And you felt it, didn't you? The exhaustion, the mental fog, the energy drain after being online. The way you suddenly felt attacked from all sides, as if negativity was being directed straight at you. That wasn't paranoia. That was energy, manipulation. They wanted you to feel isolated, overwhelmed, drained before you even had the chance to fight back. And then there were the specific targeted attacks. They knew exactly what to say to trigger you. They dug into your past, twisted your words, weaponized your vulnerabilities. They mimicked your style, your voice, even your phrases, just to distort your message and confuse people. This wasn't just an attack on your platform, it was an attack on your very identity. But their biggest miscalculation, they underestimated your resilience. Instead of collapsing under the pressure, you adapted. You recognized their tactics and refused to engage. You stopped reacting to the distractions. You cut off their energy supply by refusing to be provoked. And that's when everything shifted. Now, they're panicking. Because without your distress, without your reaction, their entire strategy crumbles. The illusion of their power is shattering, and they can feel it slipping away. The very mind games they played on you, now they're trapped in them. And at first it looked like they were winning. Every roadblock they placed in your path, every lie they carefully planted, seemed to be taking root. People turned against you, believing the fabricated stories they spun. They laughed, feeling invincible, convinced they had written your downfall in permanent ink. But the problem with deception is that it never holds up under scrutiny. And then the cracks started to show. One by one, the pieces of their scheme began to fall apart. The same people who once spread their lies began to ask questions. Inconsistencies surfaced. Holes in their story became too obvious to ignore. The more they pushed their narrative, the more people started to see through it. The public opinion they manipulated so carefully, slipping from their grasp. And their biggest mistake? Underestimating the power of truth. And because while they were busy creating an illusion, you were focused on rebuilding your reality. You didn't waste energy fighting every rumor, arguing with every troll, or proving yourself to people who had already made up their minds. Instead, you stayed the course. You focused on your growth. You built yourself up in silence while their lies crumbled under their own weight. And now, they're exposed. The people who once blindly believed them are starting to distance themselves. The supporters they relied on are questioning their motives. Their reputation, so carefully crafted through manipulation, is unraveling in real time. And the best part, you didn't have to do a thing, and divine justice is playing out, and they feel it. The walls they built around you have collapsed, but they remain trapped inside their own deception. The doors they slammed in your face, wide open. The progress they tried to block, unstoppable. Nay, And here's what terrifies them the most. Nothing they did stopped you. Their tactics, their schemes, their desperate attempts to sabotage you, all of it failed. And now, as they watch you rise, they're left with nothing but their own disgrace. The people who once followed them now see them for what they truly are. They set out to destroy you, but all they did was expose themselves. And the battlefield has shifted. Their reign of control is over. You stand victorious. And now let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently, and the silent guardians, the watchful souls, and always awake, always vigilant. And they don't fit the mold, and they wouldn't have it any other way. And while others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you feel it deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth, and the Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. And over 450 strong, united not by conformity, but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. And if not, that's perfectly fine, because we're always here, watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition, but because it's who they are. Here's to you, and thank you. They never thought this day would come. They were so certain of their control, so convinced that their attacks would leave permanent scars, that they never considered what would happen if you survived it all. But now, as you continue to rise, they're scrambling, and their once bold confidence has turned into sheer panic. You can see it in their sudden silence, their desperate attempts to rewrite history. Some of them are deleting old posts, erasing evidence and backtracking, hoping no one will notice the destruction they tried to cause. Others are going even further, pretending they were never involved at all. The same people who laughed at your struggles are suddenly acting as if they've always supported you. They speak carefully now, avoiding any mention of the past. They gaslight themselves and everyone around them, trying to convince the world that they were never against you in the first place. But here's the thing. Receipts exist. Screenshots, archived messages, old posts. The internet never forgets, and neither do the people who saw everything unfold in real time. Their attempts to bury the past are futile, and deep down they know it. And it gets worse for them. The very people who once stood by their side, who cheered them on as they spread lies and hate, are turning against them. Why? Because people respect power, and your resilience proved that you have it. Their allies are now backing away, unwilling to be associated with a losing battle. And the same public shame they tried to create for you? It's looming over them now, and they're paranoid, watching their own backs, wondering if the same smear. Tactics they used against you will one day be used against them. They know they went too far, and they know karma is coming. And here's the part they'll never admit. They don't understand how you survived. They threw everything at you, lies, deception, manipulation, digital sabotage, and yet you endured. You didn't just make it through, you came back stronger, untouchable, elevated beyond their reach. And that terrifies them more than anything, one, because now they know they never had real power over you. They expected you to lash out. They wanted you trapped in an endless cycle of reaction, constantly defending yourself against their lies, their manipulations, their twisted narratives. They hoped you would break under pressure, drowning in the chaos they orchestrated. But instead, you did something they never saw coming, and you stopped playing their game. When they launched their attacks, they needed your attention to keep them alive. Every insult, every smear, every whisper campaign, they were designed to pull you in, to force you into a battle you never needed to fight. They wanted you so consumed with proving them wrong that you'd lose sight of your purpose. But instead of engaging, you did something far more powerful. You detached, and you refused to be distracted. Every time they created a roadblock, you walked right past it. They reported your accounts, flagged your content, spread rumors to make people doubt you. But instead of getting caught up in their web, you focused on what actually mattered: your growth, your work, your elevation. While they wasted their energy trying to stop you, you were already 10 steps ahead. You protected your energy. Every word they spewed was meant to drain you, to weigh on your mind like an invisible burden. They wanted you stressed, restless, emotionally exhausted, but you learned the art of preserving your peace. You cut off access, blocked the negativity, and refused to give them the reaction they were desperate for. And then, you moved in silence. They were watching, obsessing over your every move, waiting for the moment you'd stumble. But you didn't give them anything to latch onto. While they were busy talking, you were building. While they schemed, you were planning your next steps. Every goal they thought they'd delayed, you quietly achieved. Every door they tried to shut, you found another way through. And now, they've lost control of the narrative. And all those lies they spread, they didn't stick. The connections they tried to sever, you rebuilt them stronger. The reputation they worked so hard to destroy, it's more powerful than ever. But here's what truly terrifies them: you never had to destroy them to win. They lost because they were always playing a losing game. They operated from hate, jealousy, and fear, while you operated from purpose, strength, and divine alignment. Their power was always an illusion, one that only existed as long as you entertained it. The moment you stopped feeding into it, it collapsed. And now, the power has shifted. The same ones who tried to control your story are watching in disbelief as you write your own. And the best part? There's nothing they can do about it. They tried to break you in every way possible, through slander, manipulation, cyber warfare, and even spiritual attacks. But what they didn't understand is that you were never fighting this battle alone. Every negative word they spoke against you, every attempt to drain your energy, every tactic they used to disrupt your path, it all failed. Because while they were working in the shadows, so was divine justice. You've successfully removed every energy blockage, curse, and distraction they threw your way. The anxiety they tried to plant in your mind, it no longer holds power. The confusion they tried to create, you see through it with clarity. The isolation they tried to force upon you, you are more connected, more aligned, and more supported than ever. This wasn't just a digital battle, this was spiritual warfare. They wanted you drained, they wanted you paranoid, they wanted you questioning your purpose. But the divine stepped in and everything changed. And your digital aura is now untouchable. Every attempt to infiltrate your space, to send negativity your way, to pull you back into their chaos, it bounces off you and returns straight to its source. The more they try to attack, the faster their own karma accelerates, and they can feel it. The same people who once laughed at your struggles are now uneasy. They don't know why, but they sense something shifting. The energy they put out is returning to them, and for the first time, they're experiencing the very suffering they wished upon you. And because the truth is, you never had to fight them directly. You let divine forces handle them. You didn't seek revenge, you sought alignment. Instead of engaging in their games, you focused on strengthening your own spirit, elevating your frequency, and trusting that justice would take its course. And it did. In Proverbs 18:10, "The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe." You are protected in ways they could never understand. What they tried to use against you, it has no effect. The weapons they formed, they shattered before they could even reach you. And now they're learning a painful lesson you were never to be played with. Drop a comment. My protection is unbreakable. If you know divine forces shield you from every attack, and you've won this battle, but victory doesn't mean complacency. The same people who worked overtime to destroy you, they're still watching. They're waiting for an opening, for a moment of weakness, for any sign that they might still have an ounce of control. That's why your next move is simple. Stay untouchable. And from here on out, your spiritual and digital protection comes first. You've seen what they're capable of, so now it's time to fortify your energy and secure your space. And limit access to your energy. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Cut off toxic connections, distance yourself from energy-draining conversations, and be mindful of who you let into your circle. Some of the people clapping for you now were the same ones throwing stones when they thought you wouldn't survive. Move accordingly. Stay private and strategic. Silence isn't weakness, it's power. Let them wonder about your next move. Let them question how you keep winning. The less they know, the less they can interfere. Your goals, keep them locked. Your plans, protect them. And strengthen your online security. They've tried to infiltrate your digital space before, and they'll try again. Change your passwords. Enable two-factor authentication. Secure your accounts. Make it impossible for them to touch anything connected to you. And maintain your spiritual armor. Protection isn't just about technology, it's about energy. Keep cleansing your space, grounding yourself, and staying connected to divine guidance. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, or simply keeping your intentions pure, stay aligned, and most importantly, manifest wisely. The road ahead is clear. The obstacles they placed before you, gone. The limits they tried to put on your potential, shattered. You are standing on the other side of a battle they swore you'd never survive, stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. And so, what's next? Whatever you decide. And they no longer have a say in your story. And you are free. Free from their games, their manipulation, their desperate attempts to control your destiny. They lost, and you won. Not because you fought harder, but because you refused to engage in a battle beneath you. And hold your head high. Victory is yours. And everything they tried to take from you, you reclaimed it. The power they tried to drain, it's overflowing. The narrative they tried to twist, you rewrote it in truth. And now, their panic is proof of your resilience. And they see it, they feel it, they know they failed. But here's the part they never expected. You're just getting started. The divine has elevated you to a level they can no longer reach, a space where their words, their schemes, their attacks hold no weight. The energy has shifted, and they are left where they belong, behind you. The story continues, but this time you write every chapter.